Hey YouTube, coming at you with what I had was a very successful team, but I think there's two reasons it was very successful. One, I know how to use all these Pokemon very well, right? I mentioned how CHARJABUG carried me in the Toronto Regional, so I had very good experience with that. I'm gonna go on record saying I'm probably one of the best Togedemaru users in this game, having used it so many times and just knowing how to play it very properly. And then Azumarill is just like everyone knows how to play Azumarill. It's been in since season 1, so it's easy to play with. But ABB style team, CHARJABUG is your state swap. You are trying to draw out a ground Pokemon that's really going to punish Togedemaru, beat it with Azumarill, and then Togedemaru roams free. You're going to see some like, I started 5-0. I then finished like really well. I finished like 5-2, something like that. So I was like 10-2 with this team. But the two losses are very much like lose the lead, safe swap CHARJABUG, get hit with like a Clodsire or a something else that resisted, like a ground, some type of ground that just like kills CHARJABUG, and then I couldn't come back from it. So you'll see those battles here. We also see some really good comebacks, starting with a terrible lead in Abomasnow. So they are going to chip. My guess is they're going to chip to just try and keep switch, chip, and then go to something else, and then try and keep switch. So the Sableye comes out, right? So that's not surprising. Chip and dip. I am ahead on energy, and I'm decently bulky. So now the thing is, can I get to 2 moves? Yes. If I can grab a shield, okay, that's a win. If I can't grab a shield, I think this is now worth switching flip for, like fighting for switch. That's exactly what's going to happen. So they let that go. They are now in Bolt Switch range. If the Abomasnow comes back in, which I expect it to, then I can just X-scissor that. So do that, perfect. So I'll grab a shield and I flip switch. So it's a great combo there, right? CHARJABUG in the mid game there. So now coming in here, I know they have nothing to throw at me. X-scissor is Felstinger is super effective, but it's like a terrible, terrible move. I still think it's worth throwing here, just to get some see how quickly it can start adding up on a shadow. And they actually shield, which was surprising to me. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I will commit this shield because I boosted my attack. And I know, having played this multiple times, that Wild Charge does like 50% on anything. And a boosted Wild Charge to a Shadow Abomasnow is more than enough. Hello Azumarill in the back. Another Wild Charge. This will put it into like the yellow-red. And then I have a full health Azumarill. Right, so coming back off a tough lead there, fighting for switch. Mirror match, but again, you have to try and draw out a ground. They eventually get into their own CHARJABUG. So this is not terrible. And it's one of those where I can figure out how badly I want switch here. I have an energy advantage. They did get like a bubble or 2 through, so that did chip enough that perhaps I'm in just an X-scissor range, and they are not. So as you see there, that goes through. I have to shield because I think that X-scissors plus their Volt Switch will take me out. So now the question is, can I Volt Switch this down before they get to a move? And the answer is yes. So that's huge. Again, fighting for switch there. Loaded with energy. So if the Azumarill comes back in, I'm going to discharge. And it came back in. I'm like, okay, the only reason you're coming in here, are you ABA weak to electric? Like, do you have a Skarmory or something in the back? Overfarm there, which is my mistake. Again, count and maybe next time. But have the Togedemaru on it now, so that's still okay. Going up to, again, you can't throw early. You can't throw early. You on the lead, assuming Ice Beam Play Rough. That's what happens. Get to 100 energy here, and that's when you start to throw. If this one-shots, that's great. If it doesn't, we'll deal with it. It does one-shot. And there is your double weak to electric in the back, and this is why you are going to have a real tough time with me. So back-to-back wild charges. Goodbye Skarmory after one more bubble. Azumarill Lead into Guzzlord. Okay, so this is a good lead. Do they get out into Whiscash here? Pelipper. Okay, this is just an easy come-in. I feel like I should have come in either 1 quicker or 2 with Togedemaru, but Togedemaru with the Weather Balls would start adding up. but you're taking resistor from the wing attacks as opposed to CHARJABUG, which is taking neutral because it is half bug. But getting ahead on energy here a ton is actually not a bad idea because you are throwing X Scissors super effective into Guzzlord. Again, 4 versus 3 turn fast move timing is not ideal. So I know I'm getting a little more energy than I should by optimizing, but I just can't. Like, it's too bad. I just have to do it, which is fine. I grabbed a shield. Did I grab a shield? Yeah, I grabbed a shield, took it low enough. They really don't have anything to throw here. They're staying in, which is interesting. Let it go, and it is a lantern in the back. And again, I know how to play this. As long as you don't throw the wild charge right away, Surf does like 50-55%. Takes you into the yellow. That's fine. Basically, get to the 2 wild charges, and then you can make a decision what you want to do. You will significantly outpace the lantern, so I can shield and just double wild charge here because it only takes 5 Thundershocks to get to a wild charge, and it takes 6 to get to a surf. So I'm for sure going to outpace to get to 3 charge moves here, right? 15 versus 18. Okay, they shield back to back. Goodbye lantern. And then I have a full health Azumarill, which I can instantly swap into for the Guzzlord's already gone. Okay. Dedenee, terrible lead. And I don't really have a good answer, right? Dedenee's Togedemaru is safer against Dedenee than CHARJABUG, but it doesn't matter because Togedemaru can also just get like destroyed much quicker by ground type Pokemon fighters compared to CHARJABUG, which is just generally much safer. So even though they are throwing neutral play roughs at me and I'm only throwing resistant moves, CHARJABUG is the way to go. They catch on an Umbreon, which is okay. I overtapped there because the game like frame drop / lagged on me there, so that's why I overcharged there. Tried to catch, couldn't make the catch. But at this point, I can now just bubble and get so far ahead on energy, right? Take these last resorts, that's fine. But basically just come out with 100 energy so that if the Dedenee comes in, I have a couple Ice Beams for it. And then maybe we'll try and catch a Thunder Shock on Togedemaru. So let's see how this plays out. There's your last resort, that's fine. Out comes the Dedenee. I'm going to shield up the first discharge, knowing that I'm going to get shields back right here, right? Because this will take out, and then I'll do another Bubble and Ice Beam, and that'll take out. And then if they double shield, which I think they did, I will then switch into Togedemaru to absorb any future damage. And they get out into a Poliwrath, and again, I'm going to significantly outpace you. A super effective wild charge from a very attack-heavy Pokemon should be more than enough. So goodbye, Poliwrath. They're farming up a bit, but a wild charge from this range is more than enough for you. So again, I'm very dominant with this Pokemon. This is one of the Pokemon that I've been playing with since it came out. I find it very fun, and I find it very strong if you know how to use it. In bad matchups, it's obviously tougher, but you gotta deal with that. They're not getting out. And I'm like, okay, if you're not getting out into a Talonflame, you are definitely weak in the back to this, right? There's no reason to stay in this matchup unless you are also weak to Azumarill in the back. So we're looking at a dragon. We're looking at another fire maybe, but probably a dragon or something like that. And they committed 2 shields. So I think I just let this go. Yes. And again, this is risky, right? Because if they have a ground in the back, if they have a Whiscash or they have something else, like this is setting myself up for a tough time if they have one of those 2 Pokemon, like Whiscash, Swampert, stuff like that. They came in here with Lantern, which means they probably don't have an immediate answer to Electric, which is pretty good on my end, because this is actually a good matchup for CHARJABUG, right? Because Sparks are resisted, so they can only throw neutral Surfs, while Volt Switchers are neutral. Let's see if I commit 2 shields here. No, I can live a Surf, but I am going to bank that energy. Sableye, again, having played this matchup many times, one wild charge does not take out. One wild charge gets you to about like 90% damage. So, and you can't spark down. So just boost your attack and they overfarm, and now a wild charge from this range will 100% take out. So goodbye. And then I just fell Stinger for the win here. Was this the 5-0? So again, I started off extremely strong. Went 5-0 with this team. Yep, this looks like the 5-0. So got the 5. I actually started 7-0 before some losses, but I'm going to put some losses in just so I can show you. Right? So when you're weak to electric, you probably have an electric answer. And there it is. Whiscash is probably your best, not like best answer that you want to see, because X-Scissors are still neutral, and you're tanky enough to like take these moves, so you can like just chip, right? So I will chip enough here. I already grabbed a shield and that chip, and now it's just in like bubble ice beam range. So basically I come back in and bubble an ice beam all the way down, and then just try and go 2 shielded Togedemaru. But I think they're running like I think they're running double ground, like a Swampert or something in the back. I remember they just have something that really beats me here. Or in the other loss too. The other loss was a Clodsire, which is actually much worse against Charjabug, because Charjabug's X-Scissors are also resisted because of the poison. So yeah, you'll see that coming up in the next loss here. And if you're gonna run a team like this, there's just like nothing you can do, right? Those are the losses that you have to live with. Lantern. Okay, so I didn't make a mistake coming in here. I made a mistake not shielding this, because then it actually put me in just fast move damage range for everything else. So what you're going to see here is that I go up here. Yep, shield 1, that's fine. Get to the 2 moves. But these moves are already starting to add up, right? And Skarmory has nothing to throw at me. But now I'm too low. So I throw the Wild Charge. Maybe I should have baited here. And then I'm like, okay, I've already lowered my defense times 4. So these are probably going to take me out. So I have to come in here. But I don't have a Hydro. And they just farm me down and double Sky Attack my Togedemaru for the win. So a little tricky. Potentially had a win con there in the ending, but I think I needed to... What I think I needed to do was double shield the Togedemaru, so I had like a ton of health, and then reset with 0 shields here, and then take it on the Azumarill, and then, yeah, have way more health for these Sky Attacks, as opposed to being too low where Sky Attacks takes me out. So Jellicent, again, when they're weak to electric, they probably have an answer in the bag, and Clodsire is the worst one to see because it resists the bug and it resists the electric. So they essentially just get to 100 energy. They Stone Edge and then just farm me down. So they do just go for the farm down with 100 plus energy, which allows me to get them to like the yellowish, which again is not terrible, because then you could just kind of bubble and just hope they don't have a second answer to Togedemaru in the back. But if they do, then there's just not much you can do. And then you just lose, right? So just be aware that this team is risky. What I do like about it is if they don't have a ground on the team, like even Gligar's not a terrible ground to have, quite honestly, because you do like single resisted with the Volt Switch and single resisted with X-Scissor and Discharge. So Gligar, like coming in from Azumarill to Charjabug and having a Gligar hit you, I think that may be one of the battles here coming up, is not the worst. It's just the worst if they have like Clodsire and stuff like that, right? So the damage is done on my Charjabug taken out. It's done on my Azumarill. Coming in here, I have to shield. And it is a dragon, which also resists electric, right? So you have 2 things in the back that just resist electric. Fell Stinger is super effective, and these do start to add up. So they shield 1, but these Dragon Tails are also adding up. right? So I need to start shielding, which means that the Jellicent is going to do fine against me when I'm so low, because I need to shield this next move up, or else I'm just like in Dragon Tail range. And then they just like let it go, and they could just go like one shielded Jellicent for the win here. So Felstinger again, these are adding up, but unfortunately the damage is done. I do get to a wild charge. I bait because like I'm already 3 times boosted, so I'm assuming they're gonna shield this over anything else. And I was hoping to reset. I was hoping to go one more and reset, but again, not counting. So they get the surf off, and then play roughs, as you're gonna see, are not near enough to take this out. So those are the losses you live with when you're playing a team like this. But again, if they don't have a ground, it's quite a strong team. Like, there's not a ton of fires going out around here. And even if you get a fire, you're still, like, there's no real fire ground here, right? So you're still doing neutral in most situations. If you see a ground, that's where you want to see it. So good, like, I need to be way quicker there. Like, way quicker. I have 2 electric. Like, what are you doing? These ice beams actually chip with these bubbles, and they can live a discharge. So I will probably fight for switch here, even if it means shielding. Yeah, I'm not surprising I'm shielding because I need to keep the Azumarill on the Whiscash. I cannot have the Whiscash see my Azumarill. And now they have a Talonflame. So this is where it gets interesting. Because Talonflame is doing super effective against Togedemaru as well. So I come in here basically to absorb the damage. And what I'm thinking is, if they're going to throw a move, they're probably going to then get out, and I'll be ahead on energy. Enough to chip this low enough that it's just wild charge range. Like, resist it or not, I can chip this low enough to get it in wild charge range. And what happens is, Mud Bomb's not nearly enough. I get to another move, and this puts them in actually Thundershock X Scissor or Felstinger range, and then I can wild charge the Talonflame. So let this go and immediately come in and start getting ahead on energy. I mean, you're taking out anyways, but you got to shield up a move here. That's fine. I'm just, don't worry about the timing and stuff like that. Like, the incinerates are going to cause you the problems, not anything else. So there we go. Loaded with energy for what is an attempted snipe, I guess. Wild charge that. Goodbye. And then I Felstinger this for the win. So how many more battles? I think maybe one more battle. One more battle here after this. But yeah, this was a strong team. Terrible lead. And again, I don't have an amazing answer to this, but I'm coming in here, and they're not getting out either. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're weak in the back to electric if they're staying in here. And I'm like, you know what? I'm way, way tankier than you are. So I'm guessing these moves are going to add up quick. And that is a resist move that is adding up quick. So I'm just going to grab a shield here, knowing that they have to throw. And then I'm like, I think I double shield here. And this is just a read of, if you're not getting out against my electric, it's probably because you have a bad play against this in the back. So we're starting right off the bat with a Medi, which is throwing resisted counters. And if it's running, I mean, it's low enough that I'm in Ice Punch range anyways, but they actually try and farm down, if I remember, and I get the move off. And then I think they try and go let this go and go with whatever in the back. Because it's like it's a Jellicent. So this is easy. So they got one move through. I think they top left when they realized, because basically I can wild charge. I can, like, Shadow Ball won't take me out. I can farm up to like 2 wild charges, throw 1, and then reset, and then come back for the other one. Or just throw 2 and take it out, and then come in and just absorb with Azumarill. So that's it. That's a team. That very, very strong team. Grinding back a bunch of rating that I lost since Go Battle Week started, but we're trucking back. So that is it. That's a team. Stay tuned tomorrow for more teams. Like I said, I can probably do 2 videos. The only thing is whether I have time to actually shoot the videos. I'll have enough teams. I don't know if I have the time to shoot 2 videos for Monday through Thursday, but we will try. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.